What's good, people? This is Sam O'Reilly from Fight Talk. I'm joined by my colleague, the man Craig Scott. We're going to be talking over the big press conference from today in London, the BT Sport Frank Warren Box Nation joint venture, and we're going to be talking over the talking points and obviously, future, what this means for boxing and so on. Craig, how are you, mate?
Very good, mate. Very good. Pumped after seeing all these announcements today. I think there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. A new era for boxing. I think obviously we spoke about it earlier on, mate. I think things are going to change in the UK. There's a lot of different players now, and Frank Warren's kind of set the bar today. I know you were there, so I know you obviously seen it firsthand. But it looks as though it's going to be a massive year for boxing in Britain.
Yeah, man. They brought all the big guns out. Hughie Fury was there. Terry Flanagan, Billy Joe Saunders, 2 world champions. And obviously the big announcement, Nicola Adams, OBE, she walked out like something out of WWE, the way they introduced her. She walked through the fans, she walked through the media, and it was it was quite an impressive introduction to Frank Warren for her, I guess. What's your thoughts on, first of all, when you heard that Frank Warren and Box Nation had joined up with BT Sport? Because I was first of all, I was like, you know what, it can only be a good thing, can't it, really? Someone else rivaling Sky, man. I mean, someone else to rival Sky on a big scale can only be a good thing.
I thought it was a big announcement, but I thought it was a kind of strange announcement because obviously we know Frank's got Box Nation. Box Nation is a standalone platform for boxing in the UK. So I thought it was interesting that he was teaming up with another big provider. But I think when you look at the monopoly Sky has over pay-per-view events, and when you look at how they are operating numbers-wise, and the guys that are drawing in the numbers, your Anthony Joshua's and stuff, I think obviously it makes sense. It makes sense that Frank would go with them. It makes sense that they would go with Frank. I think it's going to be massive. They've obviously got UFC as well over there, which is a bad word sometimes when you're on boxing forums or talking about boxing. But they've got UFC over there as well, and they're obviously expanding the combat sports market, so it's going to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, I think Box Nation probably didn't do the numbers they hoped and expected, as in subscribers, monthly subscribers. But BT Sport have obviously seen something and thought, you know what, we can make this grow, and we can make something of this to bring it and make this partnership. They've obviously seen some good stuff. I think there's been some really good fights on Box Nation. It doesn't get the media attention that Matchroom Boxing gets. I think the main thing they're missing is a world level star. I know Billy Joe is a world champion, and so is Terry Flanagan, but they're not world stars, are they? They're not going to sell out Wembley Stadium the way Joshua does, man. And that's a big thing. I don't think they have that star.
I think that does that for you. Do you think that comes down to exposure in the first place? Is that primarily down to exposure? If AJ was with Box Nation and he wasn't with Matchroom, would it just be the same scenario, or do you think that's something that is unique in him as an athlete?
I think he's very unique, Joshua. But he's got the looks, he's got the personality. People love him because to stay humble. He's a brand, and he's very good at knocking people over. So it kind of helps, you know what I mean?
That helps, yeah, it does help.
But yeah, I do think they're missing a big star, a big name. They're trying. They've got. I mean, Josh Warrington is a signing for them, and he's a big name in Leeds. Is that helpful? I don't know, but he's certainly not a massive name in Britain as such, is he really?
I think Josh Warrington is a massive signing for them because they've managed to sign him from Matchroom.
Yeah.
I don't. And when you used to watch those shows in Leeds, those guys were nuts. The crowd were nuts, jumping about to the Kaiser Chiefs or whatever it was they were doing.
I predict they're right.
Honestly, man, I was jumping about my living room like a madman. I think when you take that out of Leeds and when you put him on a show in London and you put him on a show in Manchester, I don't know if it has the same appeal. He's a great fighter, and obviously we think he'll fight for world titles. I don't know if it has the same appeal, but I know what you're saying. He is a big signing.
Yeah, it's time will tell with it, won't it? You know what I mean? Time will tell if he's going to be a big star. Does he capture the imagination? Because obviously I interviewed him today, and he's a nice geezer, and he's hungry for success. Sometimes one big performance on a big stage can catapult a guy. So he's fighting in Leeds against McCullough, something like that. It's not
Irish boy.
Yeah, again, it's not the best level of opponent, but he would have been out for 10 months when that fight comes around. So it's difficult, isn't it? Because you can go one way where you put him in with someone who's too good for him, and then he gets battered, and you've just defeated the whole purpose. Or you can give him fights that are too easy, and no one cares.
We're never happy, are we? Boxing fans are never happy, mate. That's the problem. We can put him in against a guy. We can put him in a massive fight that makes him a crowd favourite, and if he gets beat, then he was never going to be a world champion. And then we put him in against a guy that he's going to beat and get himself ready for that level, and we just slag off the opponent and say that he was a nobody. We're never happy, mate.
No, you're definitely right, man. 100%. Do you know what? I was surprised. Like I said, at this press conference today, right, there was so many people knocking about within boxing, real boxing people, man. Like Liam Smith just walking around. Do you know what I mean? Big names that have fought on the highest stage walking around this press conference. There was a lot of media there, and I was thinking, this is massive. It felt massive. Anthony Yard, who we know is a massive prospect. Virjinder Singh, who's basically a cult hero in his own country. Like, India loves Virjinder Singh. That guy is, and it felt big. And then you go on Twitter, and you see people slagging it, completely slagging it. And some of the fights that have been made for the first 4 events, you know what? Maybe they're not marquee fights, if we're being honest. They're not. But surely this is the first couple of months. It goes live in April, the link, doesn't it? The first BT Box Nation event is April the 8th in Manchester. And they've announced 4. 2 for April, 2 for May. So give them a chance, man. 4 fight cards, and you're going to judge the whole situation on that.
This is what... honestly, mate, I go on Twitter, and obviously we're posting lots of stuff on there with the Fight Talk page, and we obviously pay attention to other people's pages and have a look. We're sometimes so narrow-minded as boxing fans in the UK. If it's not a massive, massive event, some of these small hall shows that we go to or that we watch or we follow, they're some of the best shows, some of the best atmosphere. And when you look at the shows that Frank's put on, these first 4 shows, April and May, obviously 2 in each month, there's world title fights, there's potential cult heroes, there's existing cult heroes. Virjinder Singh's massive. He's a massive market. He's fighting Jermaine Smile, I believe.
He is, yeah. Smile just had that fight with Mackenzie.
An interesting fight, man.
Yeah.
It's an interesting fight. So I think people have to be open-minded about what's going on. They have to appreciate these things take time to build, like you said yourself. But for me, there's a couple of cracking fights on there.
I feel like people, do you know what? People in general, myself included, when like you hit the nail on the head, we're never happy. First of all, I don't want to pay $16.95 to watch Anthony Joshua knock over bums. But then when someone rivals it and brings out a pay-per-view, like on ITV I'm talking about, well, that ain't worth pay-per-view. It's only a tenner, but I'm not paying that pay-per-view. But then you get something like this, Box Nation, BT Sport link up. All right, you've got to pay for your subscription, but it's a good deal. And then you're still not happy. So I don't know what more people want. If you're a real boxing fan, I think this is good for boxing. That's my personal opinion, because the more broadcasters that get involved, the more people, the more eyes on the sport. You know, this is the sport that people are meant to love. Then surely more people watching it creates more money, creates more sponsorship, creates bigger fights.
Let me put this to you. David Hay, Richard Schaefer, what is going on with Haymaker, Ringstar? Is that what it's called?
Haymaker, Ringstar.
Haymaker, Ringstar.
Yeah, man.
Where are they going to go? Where are they going? BBC?
Nah, do you know, I thought about this for 2 days. 3 days. When they get announced? Friday?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it all weekend, right? Sad life I live. I was reading it and I was like convinced. Right, think about it. David Hay is going to want his own broadcaster because he's David Hay and he's as arrogant as they come. And in my opinion, he's one of the best British boxers we've produced in the last 10 years, right?
Yep.
So he's very money driven, but he has ideas. He thinks outside the box. Some guys like to be a boxer and they're happy with that. David Haye likes to be a bit more than that. Whether you like him or not, I don't think you can knock him for wanting to be more than just a fighter. Now, thinking about it, I was convinced, BBC, someone new. And then I went with the ITV idea. Maybe ITV, because they've just signed this, we know they're starting to do pay-per-view now with the Eubanks and so on.
Yeah.
But then I thought about, what about his relationship with the McGuigans and Cyclone Promotions? They've got a deal with Channel 5.
Channel 5, yeah.
I wonder if there's anything in that. I don't know. It just sort of occurred to me. Maybe, Shane McGuigan is obviously his trainer. His dad Barry is part of Cyclone Promotions and promoting good shows. George Groves was just on Channel 5 in November when he fought Edward Gertnecht. It's a possibility. Who knows? But
if you look at that stable as well, man, that McGuigan stable, Josh Taylor, David Haye, Groves, Frampton. Would we say that's the best stable in British boxing?
There's some good.
Or with the most potential in the next couple of years. I think Josh Taylor has got potential to be enormous, absolutely enormous. Especially, obviously, with Scottish fans.
I was about to say, nothing to do with the fact he's Scottish, is it, mate?
Well, I mean, it doesn't hinder him. But yeah, man. I mean, obviously, we're riding the coattails of Ricky Burns' success just now, which is fantastic. We know he's fighting soon. Massive fight. I think that Cyclone Promotions, that McGuigan camp, there's a lot of stuff going on there. So that's interesting. It's interesting, the Haymaker Ringstar thing as well. In addition to all this Frank Warren stuff, it's booming. Business is booming.
It is. Boxing is the place to be. If you're a casual you have casual interests, then more broadcasters getting involved. I don't know how it's not a good thing. So maybe give them more than the 4 shows and let them prove it over the next 12, 18 months.
Well, let me ask you, you're saying you can't see how it's a bad thing. Let me oppose that. Could it be a bad thing because it could dilute viewers, or it could dilute who's watching what shows, who's attending what shows, and it could therefore dilute the star appeal of some fighters if people are watching, if they've got different allegiances to different channels, blah blah blah. Could that have a negative impact on boxing?
You know what? Yeah, you can play devil's advocate. You could. It could. But I just think, surely, the way I try and look at it, with more big players involved, maybe there's more likelihood of the big fights happening that we really want to see. Because a lot of times now, you see big promoters. Like, let's look at Terry Flanagan and Anthony Crolla, yeah? I get why Crolla fought Linares the first time. Obviously, he wanted to unify. Whether you call it a real unification fight is by the by, but it was a massive fight. Linares is a great fighter.
Yeah.
But I think everyone in boxing wanted to see Flanagan and Crolla. It was the Manchester Derby, both world champs, unify it that way, yeah? But it didn't happen, and I believe it didn't happen because of the Warren-Eddie Hearn relationship. I don't think there was much else reason for that fight not to happen. But if you look at it now, with all these big people involved, the big fights have to get made because the money will be there, and they'll be able to back up their fighters if they truly are dedicated to making these fighters massive, which I believe they are. They'll give them the backing and they'll put the money in, meaning there's more money for the purse for the big fights, and they're more likely to happen. That's the way I think it should go, and I hope it goes. So, yeah, time will tell on that again, won't it? Time will tell.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge year. Obviously, I think if we get the fights that we're looking to get fights made, and we get them made as a result of this deal, that's a win-win for casual fans, for die-hard fans, for anybody who flicks through the channels and stops on the boxing for a round or two. It's obviously massive. I think some of these fights that are on this card look good. The 2 Liams fighting, I know Liam Smith is fighting Liam Williams.
Yeah, I love that fight.
Man, that's going to be a war. Where is that fight?
That's in Manchester. That's April the 8th. That one's got Nicola Adams making her professional debut. The two Liams, Smith and Williams, we believe for the vacant WBO light middleweight title of the world.
Did they confirm that today, whether it is or is not for that, or did they not?
No, they didn't confirm it. I don't think he's officially vacated yet, Canelo. But word is he's about to. And
he loves vacating a title, doesn't he? He loves vacating a title.
He's turning into Mayweather. Mayweather could just roll in any title he wants in the world, take it and then leave it. Some people, sometimes the title can be made by the man, and I think Canelo's starting to think he's like that. But I don't know. He does my head in a bit, Canelo. Pisses me off. But that main event on that is Flanagan defending against Petrov. I don't know a lot about Petrov.
Doesn't do anything for me.
No.
Doesn't do anything for. He needs to, for me. Flanagan needs to start fighting. He needs to start fighting bigger names, man.
Do you know anything about this geezer Petrov?
Nothing at all. I thought he played for Aston Villa. Honestly, I've never heard of him. And that's no disrespect, man. Obviously, he's ranked highly enough to get a shot. But for a guy like Flanagan, I think he's fought his fair share of sort of middle of the road world contenders. I don't know if he'd disagree. I don't know, but for me, it doesn't really do anything.
I couldn't agree more. And you know what he also suffers from? Now, this is going to sound really disrespectful. When I say lack of personality.
Yep.
Even the way he fights and the way he comes across, lovely geezer, but just not much about him. You know what I mean? He's just head down, does his job. The man's a world champion, so you can't disrespect that. But he's had no standout fights in his tenure since he's been champ. Definitely not. No standout fight. None where you look at his CV and gone, well, fucking hell, he's done well. He beat him, or you know what I mean. He just doesn't have that.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's not a talker, he's not going to talk himself into even bigger fights. So he just carries on, plodding on, being a world champion that no one really knows about in this country. How many non-massive boxing fans would... Do you know our world champion? Yeah, Terry Flanagan. Nah, never heard of him, mate.
You're right. But then what we need to start looking at is whose fault is that? Who does the responsibility lie with there? I think every single fighter is obviously got something that is their strength. Sometimes it's the personality that can sell a fight. Sometimes it's a skill set. Sometimes it's durability. For me, a promoter maybe should be looking to sculpt whatever the strength is and looking to focus on that and market that. And I don't know if that's been done either. I can't really remember feeling hyped up about a Terry Flanagan title shot. And that's not all down to Terry Flanagan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there should maybe be more marketing, or they should be angling it in a certain way that makes me feel pumped up about Terry Flanagan. I don't. He's world class, and I want to see a fight with Crawler, no doubt. But something needs to change with him, I think, because it's exactly as you said. I don't want to steal your own words, but he's just plodding along.
Yeah, it's not, you know, it's quite a sorry thing when the world champion's plodding along. But listen, we'll see. He might get this one out of the way, and then, you know, the BT deal might start bringing more money. Like I said, I think the fact that it's a massive broadcast of that BT, there should be more money in it, which means they can get the bigger fighters over here and offer them purses that not only Sky can do, because that's what the problem's been, hasn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The big fighters coming over here, Golovkin, not a big fighter, but world champion Charles Martin. The reason Joshua won that title fight was because Eddie Hearn and Matchroom could throw massive money at him to come over and give his title to Joshua.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it for me. So
that's exactly what it is.
Isn't it?
Well, they were talking Flanagan, Lomachenko, weren't they?
I mean,
no,
don't do it.
That.
Don't fucking do it. Don't put him near that man.
Stay away.
But someone like Lomachenko, now there's a genuine possibility he might come and fight on our shores with more than one broadcaster who can afford to pay him big bucks. That's the kind of stuff that I hope this brings in. That's what my big hope is. And you know what I also hope for this deal? Because there's BT Sport and Box Nation cross promotion where they're going to be broadcasting on both, right? But there's also
sorry, Box Nation's still going to be operating as a standalone.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that.
They're gonna have their big shows around. I think it was 20 a year together, right? So these big shows like this,
okay.
And then there's gonna be 10 standalone Box Nation cards, which are gonna be smaller hall shows.
Okay.
What I would absolutely love them to do with that is link up with a small hall promoter. I'm thinking of one in particular. I've got good relationships with all their guys. Yeah, Steve Goodwin. But not just not just because of the relationship, but they put on genuine 50-50 fights. They put on fan-friendly fights, fan-friendly shows, and they're selling out York Hall every show they do because they've got some great ticket sellers. They got some great. The atmosphere at York Hall on a Goodwin show is second to none. And listen, their Goodwin boys have fought for Cyclone. They've had a couple of fights on the Haymaker production. So they're young fighters. They're really good prospects. Like, just because people don't know them, you know what I mean? They don't really consider someone like Goodwin for a television deal. Well, maybe not his own television deal, but why couldn't it work with Box Nation like this? Why not, as part of the Box Nation show, televise a Goodwin show, or 2 or 3, give them a chance, and you'll see, because they've got a show on the 18th of March called Bethnal Bedlam at York Hall, and that's one of the best cards I've seen booked on paper in a small hall show for a long, long time. So I'd like to see Goodwin.
That card is jam-packed, absolutely jam-packed on the 18th of March.
Yep. Dean Richardson, Dan Keenan, Raheem Noble, mate, names. John O'Donnell, Eric the Eagle, Ochiek. Mate, names. I'm telling you, people that just are really, really genuinely good fighters, and there's 50-50 fights all over the card. Linus Udofia, massive prospect, also on it. So people should get behind small hall shows, and this might give them a chance and a possibility to do it. So that's what I hope it brings in. Yeah,
definitely. What was the deal with I seen Mickey Elliott, who obviously promotes the Hellraiser shows. What was the deal with some of his stuff getting televised on Channel 4? I read a couple of bits and pieces about that.
Yeah, I saw him say that. I saw him tweet that out a few times, that Hellraiser was going to be... I got to be honest, I haven't seen any of it. I know a few of his guys. Darryl Williams is a really good fighter of his.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's... You know, he's another one. He's a small hall promoter and he puts on good shows. Sometimes he will have 15, 20 fights on a card. It's unreal. It'd be like 10 hours of boxing. Seriously. They had a Elliott show that started at 2 p.m. back to middle of last year. I swear to God. Crazy, mate. Absolutely crazy. So they're, you know, if you're going to that event, you're getting all dayer for the money. They're really good small hall shows if you're looking for a night out. But Goodwin for me is more of a... It could be televised, no doubt about it. In my opinion, it's definitely television worthy for real boxing fans. Throw a Goodwin show on Box Nation, and you'll see. But listen, what are your thoughts on Nicola Adams? Just quickly before we wrap it up, Nicola Adams.
Here's my thoughts on Nicola Adams. If Nicola Adams had come out and turned professional before Katie Taylor, Nicola Adams would have been a monster signing. Does it kind of for you, and it does for me, and that's not to take anything away from Nicola Adams, because I think it's still going to be enormous. I think they're going to market it properly. I think they're going to promote it to the death. So I think it's going to be amazing. Kind of seems like they're just copying the Katie Taylor thing. I don't know if you agree. I don't know if you disagree.
Yeah, it's hard not to, isn't it? It's hard not to look at it that it's very much a reaction rather than an action. Say what you want about Eddie Hearn, but he signed Katie Taylor. I mean, I'd like to have seen him sign Nicola Adams as well.
Yeah.
But he didn't. Frank has. So listen, fair play. At the end of the day, no matter how it's happened, I think it's a good thing. I'm a massive UFC fan, and I think women's MMA is going from strength to strength. And I enjoy watching it. So why can't women's boxing do the same in this country?
I think you've got two massive stars. I think Nicola Adams is double Olympic gold medalist, which is insane. I know you were there the same night as me at Wembley Arena when Katie Taylor made her debut, and if we could sum up the atmosphere there when she was just unloading on that girl on the ropes, people were going nuts. They were loving it. It was bigger. It was the main event that night, really. I know it wasn't on the card, but that was the main event that night. It was tricolours waving, people were screaming and going mad. So Nicola Adams is going to bring in massive crowds. It's going to be amazing for women's boxing. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
They've given her Leeds as well, haven't they? She's fighting at home in her second fight in Leeds on the 13th of May with Warrington. So she'll get her own fans behind her instantly in her second fight at home. So listen, they're doing the right things and they're making the right noises. And one thing we didn't touch on, May 6th in London, in the Copper Box, there's two good fights. Mitchell Smith gets the chance for a bit of redemption He's got his rematch against George Jupp that he's been calling for. Obviously, we interviewed him on our channel last week, and he couldn't say it exactly, but we got the feeling he was getting the rematch. It's now confirmed. That's a good fight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think if you catch the interview that we did with Mitchell earlier on in the week or last week, he sounds like a different fighter this year. I don't know if you agree or you disagree with that, but
no, I agree, because I think Adam Booth
crazy focused. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you're right. I think Adam Booth, that gym, I spoke to Lucian Reed today. He's another prospect they didn't even mentioned. He's in the gym. Mitchell Smith, obviously Billy Joe Saunders there now. That gym is buzzing. We spoke about McGuigan's gym. What about Adam Booth's gym?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So, I think they're all pushing each other. And now Charlie Edwards has joined. He's just come off a world title fight a couple of fights ago. So, listen, that gym is going to go from strength to strength. Mitchell Smith being pushed every day by those guys is going to do a lot for him. So, I think this year and next year will be massive for Mitchell Smith and get him right up the rankings.
He's so talented. So talented.
He is. If he can keep focused, man, he's such a talented boy.
He won the young boxer of the year, I believe, a few years ago as well.
The boxing writers are right. So
which your Hattons and your Brooks have won before. So he's got every bit of potential needed to go all the way. And I think he seems as though he's really zoned in this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing that rematch as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, any further thoughts on the old BT Sport Box Nation presser or the future? Anything else you want to throw in, Craig?
I think I'm looking forward to it, mate. I think it's going to be a massive year. Frank Warren, BT Sports, all the best to both of those parties. I'm sure they're going to come together and create a lot of big nights for British boxing. Whatever happens elsewhere in promotion, David Hay, Richard Schaefer, Cyclone, Boxing, all these guys, it's only good for the sport, mate, and I'm sure you're the same as me. Just look forward to getting started and getting these shows on the television.
100%. Couldn't put it any better, mate. Well, listen, if you listened to 27 minutes of this, of our ramblings, then fair play to you. And obviously look out, we've got Anthony Yard, Lucian Reed, and also Josh Warren interviews from today that are up on the channel. Check us out all over the place, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. Fight Talk, #Fight Talk's coming, we're taking over. Be ready.